All right, I'm here. Beth Gordon, holistic health coach, Mama 3, doTERRA ambassador. Great to have you back. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You're so modest. You're just so calm. Here I am all fired up. I'm fired up to talk to you because today we're going to keep it a little bit. Last week we talked a lot about you and just diving deep into how your story, and I think that's really powerful. But this week we're back to kind of our shorter episodes and just kind of we're going to talk a little bit about athletic performance and essential oils. Which, by the way, I would have never thought that was a topic. I didn't think you could do that. So I'm excited. But yeah. Let's jump into some of that. Actually, before we do jump into that, I want to make a quick announcement. I should probably do this every show, by the way. And that is that, our team, we created, one of our leaders, Melody Watts, created this really nice course. And it's a 10 video course that people can get. You can go to her website. You can go to my website, www.joelevancoaching.com/teach me, and you can get the course for free. So check out the course. It is amazing. It goes into all aspects of health and using holistic health, using oils when you're thinking about exercise, nutrition, sleep, pregnancy. So all that stuff, it's in that course. Check it out. It's free. And if you finish the course, feel free to email either Beth or myself or Melody, and we will send you a free gift. So did I miss anything with that?
No, it's awesome. It's an just awesome resource that our team has. So I think that's great to share.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. So let's jump into athletic performance and oils. This I didn't even think that was possible. So tell me a little bit more. Tell me how you have used it, or even you've seen with clients, and maybe just some other success stories, and how you've used essential oils to improve athletic performance or exercise.
Yeah, so I've seen it a lot. I actually was working with a couple who's down in Texas, and he was looking to use essential oils for his soccer training business. And so that kind of threw me into it, and I used it personally a few times, just as a means of either getting myself prepped and kind of like getting my lungs ready for it, muscles ready, and then in recovery. But then just recently, I started working more with physical therapists, with athletes, with kids, especially with friends of mine who have kids who are athletes. And this is making a huge impact on them, on being able to recover, on their performance, on all those things. For my story personally, where I saw it, I was an athlete all growing up and in college. And so I didn't have oils then, right? But in terms of wanting to work out and be active, like that's always been a huge part of just my life. And when I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, with this autoimmune disease, it just got in the way of that. And so what happened for me was I had so much inflammation. Sorry, is that being weird?
A little bit of an echo, right?
Yeah, and it didn't look like it was connecting. I'm going to take a couple things off the Wi-Fi just to make sure we're good. Okay. But I was dealing with so much inflammation and just wasn't able to recover very well. And so what would happen is I would do something like, I'm just built to want to work out super hard. And so I would start feeling better and I'd be like, awesome, I'm going to lift super heavy weights and do like a HIIT workout. Not really the best decision, And so what would happen is I would do that workout, and then it was usually 1 or 2 days later, I would try and keep working out, and I actually got injured over and over and over, and it was super frustrating. And so it was this cycle of wanting to be active, wanting that part of my life back, but my body wasn't recovering very well. And so it became this cycle that was incredibly frustrating. And when I started using oils as a means to getting my body ready, combating inflammation, and then also recovery, I found that I stopped injuring myself. And so, like, when you think about that from the big picture, now I'm not a competitive athlete anymore and all those things, but I am a mom who wants to be in shape and be able to run around with my kids. And like the older we get, the more we got to lift weights, all those things, right? And so it just was really life-changing for me to start using those products, some of the supplements, some of the oils, and being able to continue to work out. Like that's pretty life-changing instead of getting injured, stopping. So that's kind of my personal story.
Yeah, that's huge because a lot of clients I work with, especially from the weight loss space,
Mhm.
they get a lot of times they get an injury, or they might have been a collegiate athlete or even somebody competitive like yourself, like you're saying, and they still want to be competitive in life, but then they get injured.
Yeah.
And we know when you don't have movement, you lose a lot of that energy, fatigue, and it sets you down a path of atrophy, laziness, and then you're
Right.
just like, you just lose that energy, that vibe, and it crushes them. So having something as a tool to get back at least fast and recover is going to be
Mhm.
huge. So I love that you said that. And I know also people with Lyme disease. I personally have never had it, so thank God, but it zaps all the energy out of you. And so I can imagine you're
Mhm.
like, finally, maybe there's a day where you have some energy, you want to do something good for yourself, and then you just get trashed in the process. And then you're left with the mental blueprint of, I don't want to do that again.
Right. Yeah, it's a
So
really big deal. And I always tell people there's kind of this cycle, and a lot of people, this is just like my little philosophy. Everybody has that one thing that has to start the good habit circle. And
yeah,
for me, that's exercise. Some people, they have to sleep really well, then everything else falls into line. Some people, the nutrition is on point, so then everything else falls into line. For me, it's exercise and movement. And so if I
yeah.
can't do that piece, it actually is really hard for the rest of my life to flow the way that it should. So yeah, so very impacting for me for sure.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, when the days I exercise, guess what? I eat better because
Yeah.
my meals are time based on when I eat. And not only
Yeah.
do I eat better, I want to fuel my body based on how I worked
Mhm.
out and performed. If I'm just having like a lazy day, then I'm like, yeah, you could put on whatever, you could eat whatever I want, right? In a sense,
Yeah.
I don't do that, but that could happen. So I agree with you. Huge.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, let's dive into it. What are there like a top 3 or top 5? Are there kind of like what oils that you have in your mind that you use on a regular basis for performance or exercise, or even some that you've seen others use for the same reasons?
Absolutely. So we have a line called Deep Blue. I would say far and away, that is the one that helps prepare people for exercise, help them recover, and help combat inflammation. Deep Blue combats inflammation. Uh, it's super powerful that way. And then we have a Deep Blue stick with copaiba. I meant to get it. Sorry, should be holding it.
I should have mine
And
too.
that,
I used mine this
like,
morning. So I've got some neck pain this recently. I've been sleeping a little off, and I've had 2 days of just neck pain. And so I've been using the deep blue in the neck. So yeah.
yep, yep. And so that is like, hey, my knee is bugging me, or my head and my neck are funky from, I lifted and my neck feels out of whack. Just really like targeted pain areas that hurt. A lot of times I'd be on a hike and I can take that stick and rub it on, and it totally helps whatever the issue is. And then we also have we have some physical therapists on our team who have these huge jugs of deep blue rub, and they use it when they're working on patients.
Mm,
And we actually have a physical therapist who's seeing a really impressive recovery difference when he's doing his therapies in conjunction with using the deep blue line. And so
interesting.
it's not just my personal experience. It's, a lot of people across the board. My friends who have kids that are athletes are seeing that. My friends who love to work out are seeing that. Physical therapists are seeing that. So there's some really fun experience behind that. So the deep blue line for sure. I love the deep blue polyphenol complex. So that's the one, it's actually a supplement. You take it internally. And so that can help with just overall body soreness, worked out too hard, anything like that. The deep blue stick is really good for those targeted areas. And then let's say, I lifted legs and I've got this massive area that I'm like, ooh, my legs are talking to me, which means if I work out really hard tomorrow and that's not resolved, my back is probably going to do something that it shouldn't do. Then I can take that deep blue rub and rub it all over. So those are that's probably the top 3 products. But then we could also look at the bigger picture of other things that contribute to athletic performance, like sleep, managing stress, preparing the body, and some of the products that can work into that as well.
Okay, yeah, really cool. But one thing I want to ask about the deep blue polyphenol complex, because I haven't used that,
Mhm.
is you said you would even use that like pre-workout, right?
Yeah, for sure.
To like
Yeah,
to like
let's
prep
say
yourself. What's
you
your thoughts on that? Why?
Because when we work out, we're putting our body under stress, right? It's a good kind of stress and we need it. It's our body needs that, right? Nobody can argue that, working out is bad for us.
It's called
But
hormesis. It's a type of stress we need that, like you said. I just interviewed Dr. Anna Lemke on dopamine. She was talking about that, how, we are so driven to be away from pain, and we're driven more towards pleasure. But she's like, we do need some pain in our life. It's actually a good thing. And like you just said, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know what happens to muscles when you stress them, but then you help them recover, right? They get stronger. The breaking down makes them stronger, all that kind of stuff. So yes, the deep blue polyphenol complex, especially for super high level athletes who are stressing their body in really significant ways with testing or performance, that kind of stuff. I think that's a great option for them. So you can do it. It's really kind of a few times a day as needed. But it can also be a proactive, I guess, measure of just, hey, I'm going to help my body manage this stress instead of, okay, I'm going to put my body through the ringer and then we'll see what happens,
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering about that. Okay, and then what were some of the other big ideas you had in terms of, like you mentioned, just sleep and maybe some even the mental aspects that come into athletic performance?
Yeah. So sleep is a huge one. And this is just, you can put it under the umbrella of general health as well. But when you're not sleeping well, you're not going to perform well. Your body's not going to recover well, all those things, right? So serenity, lavender, and balance are my favorite three for helping the body calm down, for helping you sleep well, helping you recover well. So, I'm sure that's a whole episode on its own. It's how sleep affects things. I'm sure you actually already have an episode on that somewhere, right?
Not yet. So
Not yet.
we talked about that a lot with the kids in the immunity blend and why that's so important. So I thought that was key that you brought that up, but we don't have one on actual sleep or deep on sleep. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's an easy one to research on your own, right? Just go look up some studies on sleep and how it affects your body. You go without sleep long enough, you can be certified crazy, so our bodies just don't do well when we don't sleep. And I haven't slept well at all with this crazy full moon that's going on. And it affects everything, right? Like, I'm not thinking very clearly. And I certainly, if I were to work out, I would take it easy. I wouldn't push myself really hard because my body's already stressed. So to add even more stress is going to be hard on it. So those three oils, I think serenity, lavender, balance, and just being proactive with, turning off your internet stuff, getting enough sleep, depending on how old you are. And then the other piece is the mental focus piece. And for anyone who played in high school or college, anything like that, that's a really big piece of it. And so applying oils beforehand that are going to help clear your mental focus. There's a lot of oils that can help do that. Balance, which I already mentioned for sleep, that's a great kind of all around oil for just creating a level playing field. So whether that's mental health or whether that's sleeping, whatever you need. And then a lot of the root oils are surprisingly some of the ones I love for this, because if you think of tree and root oils, they have roots that go super deep, right? And so that's basically what it does with our body, is it helps ground us. It helps us think clearly. Mental focus is going to be better. All of those things. So those are the two areas I think with athletics that are really good to find things to support your health so that athletic performance is better.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because I was thinking about there is a mentor of mine, Tony Blauer. He's known in the self-defense world, and he talks a lot about the psychology of a street fight and the behavior that's involved. And really, he goes into fear and fear management. But so he talks about basically the cycle of fear. And you can put that into anywhere, but he plugs it into athletic performance. And he said, I was a really good downhill skier. He said, I probably could have gone to the Olympics, but I would choke a lot. I would choke. And he's like, I wish I understood the cycle of fear and understood why was I choking? What was happening to me? Why was I getting these emotions prior to an event? So it's the mental aspect, like you said, of having that focus, having that clarity, and another thing, I interviewed one of the guys from the DNA company, and they were talking about what separates an Olympian from a gold medalist. And he said, it's the mental game. He said, the difference between that person and the gold medalist is the gold medalist acts like when they're performing, it's just like another day in practice. It's not like a day of like, oh, I'm surrounded in the Olympics and there's a stadium watching me, the fans, oh, there's all this pressure. It's just another day for them. And that's the difference.
Right.
So the mental edge is so huge. We never think about that though. So we're always looking at like, can I get some kind of pre-workout booster or something to make me perform better? But what about the mental edge? So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a sports psychologist come in. I actually did crew in college. I had injured my back and I was like, what can I do for sports? And so we had a sports psychologist come in, and yeah, they just talked about how your mental game is just as significant as your physical game, because we know these records that play in our head of how we think about things and how that affects performance and what the outcomes are going to be. And so, having that be a significant piece of what you tackle, whether you're a highly competitive athlete or a mom who wants to get it in shape, those are equally as important for no matter where you are in life.
Yeah, love that. And then amazing stuff. So people, when you're looking at the physical, if we're looking at the physical, the three parts of this, it's the physical, then you have the sleep and then the focus. And so there's something for everybody in that you pick and choose what oils would be best for you. The other thing I was thinking about, and I know I've seen Melody and some other folks talk about this, but peppermint is great for SpO2, right? And increasing oxygen saturation. And they've even done that of putting like an SpO2 marker, measurer on your finger and then measuring SpO2 before and after administering peppermint, which is all in the deep blue, and all the complex and everything, right?
Right. Yeah. I was actually going to bring you back around to that if we didn't touch on it.
Beautiful.
Getting your body ready for performance. So breathe, deep blue, and peppermint. Peppermint is in those, but those are going to help with oxygen saturation, and they can be such a game changer for feeling like your workout is more effective. So kind of just rubbing those on your chest beforehand. And oftentimes, if I do a really intense HIIT workout or something, my lungs will feel like they work out too. You get that kind of like weird tingly feeling.
Yeah.
So I use that afterwards as well. And then, yeah, you can use them for post workout to help your body recover as well. Just so your body is getting oxygen to all of your cells is a huge deal. So,
I would say so. Yeah. And, not to talk too much about it, but there was a pandemic over the last 2 years. If any of you had occurred that or respiratory, this was a game changer. I know a lot of people on our crew and team use this a lot, including my family, your family, and saw a lot of good results just with respiratory stuff in our children. So yeah, anecdotally, I've seen it too.
All around. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love this. I think these are all really great tips. I want to wrap it up, but is there anything else to conclude? I know, like you said, if we didn't talk about that, you're going to bring it back. So, but yeah, anything else that you can think of that you'd want to let people know? I know doTERRA even has an athletic kit, which is kind of cool. And I looked at it really quickly. It has a lot of the oils we talked about, as well as some antiseptic ones like tea tree, for example, would be good for any of the fungal. But yeah, anything else that you're thinking about?
That's true. Fungal, that happens with feet a lot right now.
Yeah.
I would say this can go into a lot more detail. So reach out to one of us to have more of a conversation. Like gut health is going to play into it, and inflammation is going to play into it. Sure. So all of those things are a piece of it. The only other oil that I would want to put on people's radar is one called Adaptive. I just and I was like, how did I not say Adaptive? Helps manage stress, helps manage basically brain health. And so if you find that you're having a hard time focusing, having a hard time, especially for those who athletic performance is important, if your child is getting stressed out before big games in high school, or they're playing in college, or anything like that, Adaptive can be so helpful. You put it on the base of the brainstem, and within 5 minutes, everything can be much more level. Brain is taking things off of that. That is for them. I just love when people think about this as a piece of the health puzzle for anyone who wants to be active, because this was such a game changer for me in terms of keeping that health cycle moving forward, which is what we all want to be doing. So looking at kind of if this piece needs to have some support, or if you need some products that are going to help in this area, it's absolutely worth looking at.
I love that you said that. So I'm going to talk quietly because people can hear me. But my youngest son has been going to jujitsu. He loves it, but he has all this anxiety leading up to it, and I
I'm
haven't
having some
tried that.
internet issues today.
Yeah, don't worry. So I'm gonna try what you just said, doing a little adaptive before we go to jujitsu today, and see if that helps my 5-year-old be less anxious as we go. Can you hear me still, Beth? Beth can't hear me. Her internet's broken. Okay, so check it out, guys. I'm gonna wrap things up. Hopefully this episode was powerful for you. If you want to learn more about essential oils, please reach out to me. Shoot me an email, info@joelevancoaching, or DM me at Joel Evan Coaching on Instagram. I'm happy to guide you and set you up and just get you more educated. Or reach out to Beth. Beth is an amazing health coach, and she has been in the game way longer than me and knows a lot of good stuff. You can reach out to her at The Candid Kitchen. If you're watching live right now, you can see how it's spelled, but it's The Candid with a K and then kitchen. And actually, I'm looking at it online. I actually spelled kitchen wrong, so that would not be helpful. Let me respell that, and there we go. At The Candid Kitchen. So there it is, at The Candid Kitchen on Instagram. Go check out Beth. Reach out to her if you guys need anything else. And that is it. Have an amazing rest of your week.